Okay, let's go ahead and UV unwrap our screwdriver. So I'm going to change this from Maya Classic to UV editing. Make sure I have the UV toolkit here and the UV editor here. Here's the one-to-one space that we need to fit all of our UVs in. And we're going to do this one piece at a time. So I'm going to do this to the smoothed version, right? So I'm going to actually select this top part and hit Control 1 so that I'm isolating it and I don't get distracted. And I know that I'm going to have a separate shell for the tip here and one shell for down here, and I might have two for up here, but let's see what happens. So first thing I'm going to do is select an edge, and it's likely that, you know, it is possible that you don't have the same edge flow that I do, but basically we're just trying to get this top part cut off. So actually I'll just select this whole thing and go to not unfold, I'll go to create and cylindrical, and I'm going to get a big mess, which is expected, but this will allow us to kind of get to work. Actually, instead of cylindrical, let's do camera based. Yeah. So I've got camera based selection, and then I'll go back and I'll select this edge loop here, hold shift, right click, and go to cut. Or you could come over here and hit cut and so and hit cut. Then if I go to UV shell, I should be able to pull that off right here. And then I'm going to, with that shell selected, I'm going to hold shift, click on planar, and choose the y-axis. I'm going to make sure that this keep image width height ratio is checked, and then hit apply. And now you can see I've got the top here, and if I unfold it, and I did that by holding shift, right click, unfold, unfold, or you could come over to this unfold and hit unfold. Then I'll hit optimize a few times, which will kind of relax the UVs. And once I've done that, I'll go to this arrange and layout and orient the shell to straighten it again. So this shell is looking pretty good for now, so I'm just going to set it to the side. It's huge, right, but we'll change that later. Next, I'm going to go to the first sort of edge loop after this transformation here, after this angle change, which is probably this one or this one. I'm going to choose this one and cut it there. Now I have this shell, and again I select that edge loop, held shift, right click, and went to cut. Then I need to make another cut along the length of it. So over here, I'm going to double click and select an edge. Let's see where that edge is. I want to do it more on the side. So let's go from here down to here. So we got those, and I can cut that. Then I'll select the shell and unfold it, orient it, and I need to rotate this because I want it going straight up and down. At least I'd prefer that. And I'm just going to scale this up quite a bit so I can look for distortion, and it's looking pretty good. Okay, so this shell is looking good, so I can move that to the side for now. Lastly, we have this shell. And let's start by just trying to cut it in two shells. We could try one and see what happens. Let's start with one. So I'll select this edge here, which is an edge that runs along the side, right? I'm making sure that I'm not selecting edges on the other shells. So I'll cut that, and then let's unfold it and see what happens. And let's orient it and optimize. So that's not bad, but this seam is pretty not great. Let's try and select this edge and cut it, and then unfold these, and that's probably going to be a lot better. Let's optimize them and orient them so they're straight. Alright, so the alternative to this could be that, you know, maybe you cut this into 4 shells where the sides are separated from the sort of like front, but I think I don't want to do that because I don't want to have so many shells. I want to kind of minimize my shells, and the distortion that we are getting some, is minimal enough that when we texture it, we're going to be able to paint out that seam and it'll still look good. So I'm going to leave it like so. So these are done. Let's go ahead and do the handle next. I'm going to hit Control 1 over here, select the handle, and hit Control 1. And let's start with another camera based. So camera based. And I know I want to cut the top off because these faces face down and these ones face up, so I'll select those and probably this one and hit cut, and now I should have these shells. So let's do a planar map for this one. In the Y, apply. And I'm going to scale this down and move it to the side. Hit G to redo it. Unfold. Actually, this one will not be planar. That will be something else. This one will be planar. G. So select this one and do planar for the underside. Then this one up here, let's do a select it and do cylindrical. And then unfold it. Orient it. And I want this to be, I think, not running up and down, so I'll go to transform and rotate it like that. And let's see where it actually, where the seam is. Okay. And let's scale this down and move this over here. So these are all pretty good and distortion free. Let's cut the bottom off now. So I'll select this edge here, shift, right click, cut, UV shell mode, select this, and then we'll do another planar, shift, click on planar, Y axis, apply, unfold, and that's good. We'll move this to the side. So when looking at the reference, I'm seeing that this top part has text, and I want to capture that text inside of the texture, right? So this just means that if I'm going to have any shell be larger than any of the other shells, it will probably be this one up here. So instead of doing one shell for the entire length of the handle, I'll probably have this be its own shell that I can choose to scale up if I want to. And I'll probably start with it scaled up a little bit. So let's close out of that. And for this, let's go ahead and cut that top off, which let's go ahead and use our reference image to figure out which edge loop needs to be cut, and it looks like it's going to be this one. It's not perfectly lined up with the bottom here, so what I can do is hit W, and we'll learn a new technique, which is transform constraint slide. And if we're in the modeling toolkit, then it's right here, this transform constraint. I can change that to edge slide. The shortcut to edge slide is to hold Control and Shift with the move tool, and when you hover over an edge, you'll see it says slide. And if I click on this, you'll see I can slide it up and down without changing the profile. If I did not have this selected and moved it, you can see that the profile right here is changing, and we don't want that. So I'm going to select this edge loop, hold Control Shift, and slide it up so that it lines up with this metal piece. And now I know that's good. I can cut this edge. So cut. Then I'll take this shell, and let's see what happens when we just do a cylindrical unwrap on this shell. And I want to unfold this. I'm going to save it first because this is a lot of polygons to unfold, and I don't want my computer to crash. So I'm going to save it real quick. And I just saved it, so let's see what happens. Unfold, unfold. Okay, no problem. Depending on your system, you know, the more faces you're trying to unfold at one time, it might really struggle with it. So let's turn on the checkerboard and look at it over here. And it looks like we're not getting distortion necessarily. The texture is just kind of twisting because of, you know, it's wider down here than it is up here. We're also getting this bend here, which might cause issues with the texture. We could straighten this. Let's go ahead and do a cylindrical on this first. Cylindrical, unfold. Okay, so I'm looking at this shell right here, and I'm thinking about this curve, and when I shrink it down, how we might have issues with the material transition, as well as potentially some text. So I may want to straighten this and see how it looks. So this might take a minute. It also may crash Maya if you're doing a lot of polys and you're trying to straighten the UVs on them. So if you do this, save your work before you attempt this. But I'm going to select this shell, and I'm going to go to on the unfold menu, and this straighten UVs. I'm going to click on this, and we'll hope that it doesn't crash. If I tried to straighten UVs on this whole shell, it would likely crash. Alright, so that worked. It took just a second there. But I'm just going to check this out and look for distortion. And there's a little bit, but not enough to be significant. So that's good. I'm not going to straighten the shell because I know it won't be able to handle it. All right, so at this point, I'm just going to double check and make sure everything's unwrapped. And it is. So let's go ahead and go through the process of laying out our UVs. So I'm going to move all of these to the side. And I think this is going to be my priority shell. So I'm going to scale this down, something like this for now, just some guesswork. And then I'll go ahead and go through the process of the textile density arrangement. So transform, scroll down to textile density, hit get, select the other shells. I'm maybe just do one at a time because this is a pretty heavy high poly object, and then hit set. Hit set, set, set. This one's gonna be tiny. All right, so let's arrange this. I'm going to orient that and move this over here. Let's bring these all over. Put this here. This is part of the handle, so let's kind of move it near the handle shells if possible. Just for organization's sake. This is the bottom of the handle. I tend to like this. I used to really despise UV unwrapping, but now I find it kind of soothing. If you're doing a really complex model, you know, just I like to put on a little bit of music in the background and then just kind of work away at it. And it's oddly satisfying once you understand how to do it properly. Okay, so there is some extra space. This isn't bad by any means. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over. Let's rotate this 90 degrees and slide this in here. And because this is a priority shell, I'm going to scale this up a little bit, which will cause uneven textile density, but not so much that it will be noticeable. If this was wood as well as this being made out of wood, it would probably be noticeable. But because this is going to be metal, it should be fine. And then I'll scale this up. Actually, let's match the textile density because this is a metal piece as well that connects to this piece. So I'm going to get the textile density again from there and hit set on this. And just move this over here. Or actually, I need that space for this guy. Just trying to make sure there's good edge padding here. And there's a bunch of angles on this anyway, so but I do want to make sure that this stays pretty straight in comparison to here, so that seam isn't hard to paint away. But I could probably scale these up just a little bit if I wanted to. I'm just going to leave them. I may have to come back and play with this shell because it's very small, but we'll see. Alright, I think this is pretty good for now. Let me pull this off of the top a little bit. Alright, and there's some room to adjust this. And I'm actually going to rotate this 90 degrees so that it matches this angle. And maybe just because I have the space, I'll put it up here to remind myself, oh, this is the top of this, right? Okay, I think this is a good space to be. So let's save our work. And once you've saved your work, and go on to the next video, which will outline exporting the model, bringing it into Substance Painter, and getting the initial bake. And I'll see you there.